Breakers.
What is going on, Breaker Nation? I'm back in here. This team is a roller coaster right now, man. They went up, and then they just went down. We fall to 4-3. We lose to the Ponies. That sucks. I don't even know where to begin. Oh gosh. It's so weird because you move the ball well in that game. Like, you got yardage, you got down the field, you just weren't scoring touchdowns. Situational errors offensively. And I just think they kind of wanted it more. Like, we had already beaten them, and I think they were like, they wanted it. Like, they were like, they want that revenge. And I feel like it kind of played out that way to a degree. I also just think that, we made more errors than they did. So that's also part of it too. That's a big part of it. But the season is not over. I know, I've said the don't hit the panic button thing, and you try to keep being optimistic, and it's hard when you lose 3 in a row. It's hard to keep being optimistic, and I understand that. Okay, there's times where I'm like, bro, the season's over, bro, this and that. But this team is still very, very talented. You got to understand, we still have the league's leading passer. We still have the league leading rusher. We still have the league leading receiver. Our defense has gotten better throughout the duration of the season. The offense is kind of in a slump right now as far as scoring points and just kind of situationally. But don't forget that this team was 4-0 at a certain point in the season. If they can figure just a couple of these things out, we could go on a run and win a championship. Okay, remember, Philadelphia was 6-4 last year. They were like 2-3 when Case Cookis came in. Okay, and they went on a little run. They made the playoffs, and they almost won it. Like, they almost won that championship. If Case Cookis did not get hurt, they would have won. Now, I know that's season 1 and this is season 2. But what I'm saying is, just because we've lost a couple games, that doesn't mean our season is over. Okay, this team is still very talented. If they can just get a couple of things to go together, we can win. We can win some of these games and make a run like we should. So we're talented enough. We're still talented enough to win a championship. I believe that. And I'm not even just saying that as a Breaker fan. Like, I knew before the season this team was talented enough to win a championship. They just got to put it together. We've seen what they can do. We've literally seen it. 4-0, we saw it. We saw the points per game and all that good stuff. They just need to figure it out again. Hopefully they can start this week. So let's get into this game. We got the Michigan Panthers. I call this one the Uniform Bowl. Personally, I think Michigan and New Orleans have the best uniforms in the league. I still think the Breakers are number 1. I think the Breakers still have the better helmet. I think Michigan's got the second best helmet. I will say, if I would make any sort of I don't know the word I'm looking for, but the furthest I would go is I would say that Michigan has the better home uniform and we have the better away uniform. I think that there's an argument for that. Okay, I wouldn't fully argue against that. Anyway, let's get into some players to watch. You guys know I always do this. McLeod Bethel-Thompson. I actually ran back what I had last week, but it makes sense as to why. I'm going to get into it in a second. So McLeod Bethel-Thompson, like I said, he's always going to be a player to watch because, as we've seen throughout the duration of this season, he dictates a lot of things. If he's turning the ball over, we're not winning. If he is missing throws, we are not winning. So, this is a game. Now, the key to this is they are second in passing yards per game allowed. Now, that also part of that is some of the QBs in the North are a little meh right now. New Jersey's got some stuff to figure out. Pittsburgh earlier in the season, passing yardage-wise was really low, and we are the number 1 passing offense. So we'll see kind of if it's really their passing defense is good or if it's just kind of like a situation of their schedule and things like that. We'll see. But regardless, they do have the second, statistically, the second best passing defense. So we'll see how that goes with Bethel-Thompson. If he can just kind of get back into a rhythm, stop missing some of these throws, get the protection just a little bit better, see if he can have a bounce back game. But on the flip side, Michigan is sixth in rushing yards per game. There's only 3 teams in the USFL that allow 100 or more rushing yards per game as a defense, and Michigan's one of those teams. So if West Hills is going to have one of those 100-something 3-touchdown games, it'll probably be this one. This is probably the last really good chance of that happening in the season, just because Houston and Memphis played pretty darn good defense. So. And then our secondary, because Michigan likes to throw the ball, they got some good receivers, man. They really do. I won't lie to you. They got some good receivers. They even got some solid tight ends. And if Josh Love is on, man, when he's on, he's on. Not very often, but when it does happen, man, he's on. So our secondary is going to be really key in this game. Now, moving on to Michigan, I have Reggie Corbin. I think they're going to throw the ball still a lot, but they do like to run the ball some. Reggie Corbin's a good running back. He's one of the best in the league. He can pop at any time for a long run. So he's a guy that we have to watch out for. And then, excuse me, I don't know what that was. Joe Walker. Joe Walker is second in receiving yards in the league behind our guy, Sage Surratt. So he had that big receiving touchdown the other day. It was like, 60, 70 yards. And all it was, I'm pretty sure it was just like a slant. And he just broke a few tackles and was gone. So Joe Walker is a guy that you got to watch. He's liable to do something big anytime he touches the ball. And even though he's not on here, same with Trey Quinn. They got 2 really good wide receivers, man. They got some weapons. Defensively for them, Braylon Speaks, he has 7 sacks. I think he leads the league. Bethel-Thompson has faced a lot of pressure this year, so we'll see how that goes. He could have a big day against us, so that's another guy to watch. Excuse me. Man, acting up right now. All right, some offensive keys. Establish the run. I think this has to be a game where you just want to win, right? Like you've lost 3 in a row. Just get in the win column, okay? So this is one of those games where you just kind of got to do what you got to do. And I think you do that by establishing the run. Like I said, they have one of the worst run defenses statistically, okay? So establish the run and control the clock and finish drives with touchdowns, right? Go down the field, score touchdowns. It wasn't that much of an issue earlier in the season, but later in this season, this last 3-game stretch, it's been an issue getting in the end zone. We've kicked a crap ton of field goals. We have to get in the end zone, score touchdowns. So, look, we got to run the ball and just find a way to get out of well, we play them in Birmingham. So, find a way when that clock strikes 0-0-0 at the end of the fourth, win the game. Just have more points. I don't care if it's 1 point or 100 points. Just win this game, get back in the win column, and get our stuff together. So, that's kind of how I see our offensive keys. Let's see, defensive keys. Look, we got to pressure Love, right? Like I said, when he's on, but when he's off, he's off. If you can pressure him and harass him, and it doesn't always mean, and I explained this to somebody last week with Magoo. Pressure, when I talk about harassing and getting him off balance, that doesn't necessarily mean getting him outside of the pocket. That means getting in his passing lane, changing his arm slot, just smacking him, touching him, just harassing him, getting on his nerves all day. That messes with quarterbacks. They don't like to be bothered. They just want to throw the ball, make their reads and find their guy. So if you're harassing them all day and you can get to him a few times, you'll get them off their game, and especially Josh Love. So this is a guy that we're going to have to pressure. Force turnovers. Our defense actually does a pretty darn good job, but if we can force this team to turn the ball over a few times, give us some extra possessions, hopefully we can get some extra points out of that. And then don't give up big plays. Michigan has done a really good job this year of getting big plays, man, like big touchdown plays. So we're going to have to keep a lot of things in front of us. We cannot give up big plays. We've had times in our secondary where we've kind of had some breakdowns. If you have a coverage breakdown against Michigan, they might drop a 50-yard touchdown on you real quick. And that also goes for the running game because Reggie Corbin is known to just randomly just 60, just out of nowhere. So, yeah. All right, so now I'm going to move to the weekly picks. It is so hard to pick games in this freaking league. The parity in this league is crazy. Crazy. From the top-ranked team to the 8th-ranked team. As we've literally seen, like, Memphis was really close to screwing around and being second in the league, record-wise, from dead last to second. And then Philly literally went from 4th, like they were comfortably 4th in that Northern Division to comfortably first place. Like, this league is just crazy. Every team can beat every team. There is no best team. There is no worst team. It changes every single week. There's going to be a team that finishes with a bad record, and there's going to be teams that finish with good records, and that doesn't even mean – like, it doesn't even mean that, you know, it's – this league, I don't know. This league is crazy. This is so – because last year it was like Pitt was bad. Michigan was bad. Houston wasn't terrible, but they still lost a lot of games and stuff. Like, and then New Jersey was really good, and you know Birmingham was really good, and then New Orleans and Philly were pretty darn good. So I don't know. This league is just it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, so let's see. I always do these games in order of when they're played. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, so Pittsburgh. I've got Pittsburgh winning their game over Houston. I don't know why. I'm probably going to be wrong on this one. I'm just picking an upset. I am. I don't know what it is. I think Pitt's due for a win. Philadelphia over Birmingham could also be considered an upset. I do think Philadelphia has begun to find their rhythm a little bit. They've collected some wins. I think they might just go down to Birmingham and shock them. And then Memphis, I do think Memphis is better than New Jersey. I think New Jersey's just kind of in a weird spot right now. They did sign Eric Barriere. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if that'll have any effect this week, but the last couple weeks it could have an effect. So we will see. And then our game, I've got us beating Michigan. Now I've picked us to win in every game. Just I can talk myself into any win, but this game I've got us beating Michigan. This has got to be the game that we finally bounce back. Michigan is a really inconsistent team. I think they're one of the bottom teams in the league, even though they're second in the North right now. They did beat New Jersey, but a couple of things. Josh Love, super inconsistent, right? He just had a really good game. When you're inconsistent and you just had a really good game, there's a high chance of him having a bad game this time. And we're one of the top teams in interceptions. So if he's going to have a bad game versus a team that gets interceptions, you get what I'm saying? This is also a game where, like I said, you know, we could have a chance of running the ball really well if they actually stick to it. I didn't pick us to score 30 just because I don't know if we'll score 30 again this year. We'll see. But I think this is kind of one of those games where Michigan's going to give a freaking good fight, but they've got to travel down, which is nice. You don't have to worry about the Michigan crowd. So I think this is a game that they find a way to get, and they move to 5-3, and you know, into the home stretch where you've got those last 2 weeks of division games. So, but anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Praying we get this win. Dropping 4 in a row would be awful. So hopefully they get this win and secure at least a 500 season. Now, hopefully we get a winning record and can make the playoffs. But at least going 500 on the season is better than a losing record, I guess. So, but anyway, that's all I got for you guys. So hopefully next week I can open the video with an actual smile on my face and not look depressed. So until next time, Breaker Nation, it's your boy Leaux. I'm signing off. Peace.